Hi, this is George with Argo Electrical Services, and I am the surge protector guy. So, this is our second podcast today. I want to welcome everyone. So, the title today is your electrician performing load calculations? And so I had to shorten up my title. But anyway, the question is your electrician performing load calculations before adding circuits or panels to your electrical system? So one of the things that I've been doing to try and improve my marketing is YouTube videos, and I try to watch other people that are in my industry. It's a beautiful thing, YouTube. We can get tons of information right off of our phone or straight to our TV. But anyway, I was watching a video the other day, and this fellow's reading a script, and he says, "Does your interior panel have enough spaces? And if so, then you can just add a sub panel." And I got to thinking, oh my Lord. So, in the world of electric vehicles, and I live in Northeast Georgia, I'm about 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. In the past 15 years since I've had my own business, I've made quite a good living of upgrading services and adding stuff to people's homes that might not have been there when the home was originally built. There are a lot of two-story homes around here with unfinished basements, and the electricians at the time went in there and put either a 150 amp service entrance or a 200 amp service entrance. But the new homeowner or the existing homeowner, there's a lot of flipping of houses going on around here, and but people want to finish the basement. Maybe they want to, give their kids living space down there, make a mother-in-law suite or whatever. But they want to add a little bar kitchen area in the home. They want to add potentially a HVAC unit, which would provide heat and air, plus, all kinds of different circuits. Maybe they want to put a shop, whatever. And of course, in the last few years, we've done quite a few installations for EV chargers. And these items tax the electrical system. And if you have a home that was 2,500 square foot to begin with, not counting the unfinished basement, right? And then you add another 900 to 1,200 feet in the unfinished basement, then you're bouncing close to, 3,500, 4,000 square feet, just depending on the size of the home. And, I can't tell you how many times I've done remodel projects in this area. And I'm not just talking about in one county, I'm talking about in multiple counties, all of them, all the way out of North Atlanta, right on up into the mountains. And I go in there and I tell the inspector that comes by to do the electrical inspection, it's like, hey, well, here we ran this. We put a 100 amp panel down here so we could feed this new HVAC unit, these 5 circuits in the house, yada, yada, whatever. And the guy never asked me for a load calculation. We change out meter bases and panels in older homes all the time. The home might be 50 years old, and of course, they don't want to knock the entire home down and start over, but they need to upgrade their service because we use more stuff today than we ever have. And none of these inspectors have ever asked me for a load calculation. In commercial jobs, you have architects and engineers, and they have stamp prints that they put out, and those prints are approved before you ever start work, before they ever even issue permits. In the residential world, not so much. It's kind of a build to suit thing, and as long as it seems to make sense to your inspector and the contractor, they go ahead and let you do it. And and at the end of the day, I'm not sure how it is outside of the state of Georgia, but I know in North Georgia, when you get your approval for inspection at the end of the remodel or whatever, they're going to send you a piece of paper that says, even though you have had your property inspected by the authority having jurisdiction, whether it's the county, the local county, or the city that you live in, all liability falls back on the contractor. And I'm sure the county's real happy with that. But that leads me to my next question. What happens when a catastrophe happens in your self-improved property? First and foremost, you need to have it permitted. Otherwise, if there is a catastrophe, the insurance company will never pay. And it's to protect you against people who do unethical work, or maybe they just made a mistake. Maybe they weren't, maybe they had a faulty piece of equipment that caught fire. But at the end of the day, you want to protect yourself as a homeowner. Non-permitted work is a risk for the property owner. All right. And furthermore, the National Electrical Code requires load calculations before adding branch circuits to the system, or subpanels. The electrical load calculation means adding up the amperage to all your fixtures and appliances. For safety reasons, it's always a good idea to build a margin of safety. Usually, the load shouldn't exceed 75%, 80% of your electrical service capacity. However, in order to do the calculation, you'll need to understand watts, volts, and amps, as well as the relationship between them. You'll need the suggested numbers from the NEC code. And if you're an aspiring electrician, please familiarize yourself with Chapter 2 of the National Electrical Code book. All right. And, so amps equals watts divided by volts, or volts times amps equals watts. All right. So do your calculation. Once we've added up the capacity of all the branch circuits or your home's electrical service entrance, you can proceed to measure it against the proposed load. Add the wattage ratings up to the appliance and fixtures, and consider the appliances that you'll be operating at the same time. You don't need to add every light bulb and all the plug-in appliances. Every breaker does it. You don't go in there and add, I've got 10, 20 amp breakers, and two 40 amp double pole 40 amp breakers, two 30 double pole breakers, and a 50 double pole breaker. So that ends up to 400 amps or whatever it comes up to. I'm not looking at the math, but the whole point is you're not going to be running all this equipment at the same time. You're not going to be running the heat at the same time you're running the air conditioner. However, there's a good possibility that the air conditioner will be running while your hot tub's going. And if you have an electric vehicle, you might be charging the car same. So one method of sizing the electrical service is start by adding the branch circuits. The lighting load. That's what the code wants you to do. You can add the wattage of all the plug-in outlets, add the wattage and the National Electrical Code gives you a flat rate per square foot, right? And it's 3 volt amps. And anyway,